For nearly a decade, you've been asking Jason questions. But did anyone think to fact check this guy? This is the Audit Jason Show. Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Piercy, and this is Audit Jason. And Audit Jason is myself and the lovely and talented director Joe, who you can't see but looks exactly like this. This is when we go over old real estate videos that we made when we thought that we knew everything. Clearly, we did not. So now we're going to go over what had happened in the past and audit how good and bad and right and wrong we were. And I keep saying we because I don't want to be completely on the hook for the failings. Anyway, we're still in the first season of something called the Ask Jason Show, and we're going to watch it right now and tear it to pieces. Are you ready, Director Joe? Yeah, he did this. He does that a lot. So let's make it happen. Here we go. Any second now, Jason.
On this episode, I warn you, when CRA comes knocking, it won't be my fault. And there's people flicking low balls everywhere.
I'm making mistakes.
This real estate stuff is not easy.
Is that better,
So
Joe?
send me your questions, and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason Show. Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Piercy, and this is episode 19, the real 19. If you watched the last one, you saw I'm already gone way past things. 19 of the Ask Jason Show.
Oh, we did a dub, a voiceover. 18.
I said it was 19.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was 18. Late one night while editing, Joe messaged me and he said, dude, we were wrong. Or I said we were wrong.
This
whatever
is
happened.
not relevant.
And we decided it would be funny to just blatantly overdub what I was saying. And I even stumbled across trying to make my fingers represent 19 accurately. I even went back and said, okay, I'm gonna play it. Like, I'll say it and I'll record it and I'll send it to you. But I'll do it like an old dude who's like half English, like the university professor who thinks he's from England, but he's from like Burgio, or like that kind of thing. This is episode number 18. 18. So it was really funny.
That
if you
is
haven't
funny.
seen episode 18, you should watch it. Anyway, this is
Completely unrelated, I had that English professor, except he wasn't from Burgio. He was from Connecticut. And Peter Ayres, his name was, Ayres, Dr. Peter Ayres, Professor Peter Ayres. And he used to sit in the Breezeway, which is the university bar at the Memorial University in Newfoundland, and drink a locally brewed beer called Extra Old Stock, which is basically like if you picture beer in molasses form. Like, it's terrible. And he's from Connecticut, and he was my Shakespeare professor. I studied a fair bit of Shakespeare in university. And he spoke with like a proper Queen's English, British accent. And then I found out he's American. He's from Connecticut. Like, that's as fancy as you get. You grew up in the Hamptons. I don't even know if the Hamptons are near Connecticut, but I feel like they probably are. I think they are. Like New York, the upper, right? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, upstate, upper. That's what you say, upstate. Not American or English. And I couldn't connect those things together. Oh my God, let's watch.
19, the real 19. 2 questions. I'm going to do this one first because I think it's super important. There's new CRA taxation rules for the sale of a property, of a principal residence. And they're going to have a big impact on anybody who sold their house in 2016. And now moving forward, unless there's another change.
I don't remember this.
That negates this. And the question is, how does this affect me? And here's the most real answer I can give you. I'm not your dude for this. I'm going to hire an accountant to do mine, so you should hire an accountant to do yours. Here's the reality. They're taxing the income tax on the sale of principal residents to principal residents to a higher degree than they would have previously. And not only are they doing it, it's no longer that you can not file that and nobody will notice. They're actively going to come look for you. Like, I'm going to say that again. This is important. They're going to come look for you. So if you sold a house last year, tell your accountant, put it in your taxes, or you're going to get a very unpleasant surprise when your notice of assessment comes back. But I'm not the guy. Don't call me. This is not advice. Like, I'm not the person for this. Call your accountant, not me. So my professional opinion is ask a professional.
My phone number.
I'm so warm already. Okay, question number 2.
Hold up. I got to go back there because I think that was a really charming little bit of video and some really like poor graphical editing work by Joe, but comedic timing and the simplicity of it just golden. Anyway, yeah, we're not taxed on the sale of a principal residence at all. So, unless your principal residence also has an income property in it, then you can be taxed on it at a ratio of how much of the house you receive like rent from, and the value that portion is related to the value that it increases over time. You could but if you just sell your own house that you have lived in and it's your principal residence, there's a capital gains exemption for that. So I'm not exactly sure the hell I was talking about when I said that. Again, I reserve the right to be wrong, but you don't pay income tax or capital gains on the sale of a principal residence. So, I mean, no, I don't. I'm gonna have to look it up because I don't think that's accurate, huh?
Did you just misspeak?
No, Joe asked if I misspoke. No, I didn't. All I can figure is, you know what? I bet you this is what happened. I saw like an article about how CRA was taxing sale of homes or something like that, and or they wanted you to report the sale of your principal residence so they could blah blah blah. And I probably said to myself, I should bring this up on the show that we filmed today because it's really important and timely, but I don't know anything about it. So this is a great way for me to just say, hey, this is important. Call somebody who knows about it. Probably, right? Because I don't think there's any truth to that at all. I'm trying to find ways that I'm wrong here, and there's a lot of ways that I'm wrong. But based on this particular circumstance, I mean, it's sort of akin to a thing about bare trusts that will get you in tax trouble throughout your lifetime. Like if your child buys a house and you co-sign for it, then you also have tax implications because of. Again, I'm not going to get into it. Actually, there's an article on the Ask Team's website in the resource sections about Bear Trust, and it's weirdly one of the most read blog posts that I've made. So if you go to the askteam.ca under resources, it's there. But yeah, so I don't know. This doesn't make any sense. You were wrong then, Jason. You were wrong, and you need to trim your beard. It's a nice shirt, though. Anyway, whatever. Let's move on.
The question came from a client of mine, actually. How much should I offer? And what they're referring to is under asking price, because everybody sees our market right now, and it's true, as a buyer's market. But
okay, just this is going to be so drastically different from the market that we are in right now. Because right now we are deep into a seller's market. And when you're trying to determine how much you should offer, it's like how much above asking and how many conditions do I have to remove and how many, that's where we are right now. But so this is going to be a stark contrast to our local market, but I'm curious how I felt about this at that time and whether or not that advice would hold true today if we were in a similar circumstance. So that's interesting.
This market refers to is actually the absorption rate. So if no new houses went up for sale and so all of the inventory, all the listings didn't change, the same number, and people continued to purchase at the same rate that they're purchasing now, the absorption rate refers to how much time would pass before all of the houses were sold. An absorption rate that is above 5 months, so 5 to 7, somewhere in there, that means that you're in a buyer's market. That's all it means. It's a technical definition that means it will take longer to sell all current inventory because of the amount of inventory versus how much time it takes to sell. That's all it means. So how much you should offer on a property is not reflective of whether or not you can statistically call it a buyer's market. What you should offer on your property is based on what the real market value is, not what the asking price is. I've listed houses in this market that sold for $58,000 above asking because that was our, to look on Joe's face, that happened. I'll tell you that story. Because our marketing campaign for that was designed around that being our expectation. Other people will test the market and they'll put their house, if this is their value, they'll ask here, giving themselves some negotiating room. That's another tactic. It's not one that I use. I don't think it makes sense. I like to price things at the price that they should sell for. The real value, right there. So if somebody wants to write out one of my...
That's true in a buyer's market.
$25,000 under asking, that doesn't make sense. Now, I know you think everything's selling under asking, but you're making an assumption that everything is priced with the same level of expertise and the same marketing strategy. That's not the case. When a buyer of mine wants to buy a property, and they say, how much should we offer? Like, where should we start? I don't care where you start. What matters to me is that we are of the same opinion that if a house is asking $399 and it's actually worth $399, then I'm okay with you paying $399 because I did my due diligence and I did my own competitive market analysis to see what the property is worth. How much should I offer? You should offer enough to get the house that you want that doesn't negatively affect your family's financial future. Because there's a cost of loving something when it comes to a property. And yeah. So you don't need to write ridiculous lowball offers. Only write ridiculous lowball offers if the house is overpriced. I said house again. Costco coffee. Breakfast blend. It's good. Costco is not paying me. Wouldn't that be great? Those are the two questions I have for today.
I still drink breakfast blend. It's good.
We will see you. What are you laughing at? Do you have something to say? We will see you next time. Ask Jason's show exists so that you can make informed real estate decisions that are in the best interest of yourself and your family and your future, and you get information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of trust, here are some people that I would trust my mom to work with, because for me, that's the litmus test right there. Good enough for mom, good enough for everybody.
That's kind of, now, I don't currently use all of these people, but they're still good at what they do. That's
This episode.
whoops, we'll get rid of that. So, I mean, I think I was right. That's still true. How much you offer on a property shouldn't be dictated by the property's asking price. It should be dictated by the property's value, its actual value in the current market. And I started this second question by saying this is going to be totally different from where we are in our current market because blah, 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 blah. But do you know what? It's exactly the same, except from the other direction. So right now, people are saying everything is selling for way over asking. Everything goes like 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 over asking. You can't buy anything. Everything's overpriced. You can't get, and it's true. Yeah, stuff sells over asking, but it doesn't mean it sells for more than it's worth, because the definition of market value is that intersection on the graph of like how much a willing buyer will pay and how much a willing seller will sell for, where they meet. That's the nexus of uncomfortability. That's accurate, fair market value. That's what it means. So houses back then, when buyers have all the control in a buyer's market, they sell under asking, but they sell at market value. And now when the sellers have all the control and there's a lineup of buyers and you've got multiple bids, competing offers, firm and final, best and last, and they're going 40 and 50 grand over asking, that doesn't mean that they're worth, they went, you paid more than it was worth. You just paid more than somebody asked for it. And you paid less than somebody asked for it. But the asking price is not some like stamped, signed letter from the Lord Jesus Christ or like Allah or Prophet Muhammad or Ganesh. Like, it's not like determined or foretold by the I don't know, from the Big Bang it was said, and it would travel through time, and it's written in the stardust, and Carl Sagan was like, this is what we're made of. That's not where the price comes from. The asking price is a marketing decision. So how much? Joe's like, oh, no, Carl. No. I got a little Big Bang there. Ching. Yeah, so asking prices are not guides to how much the property should be sold for. They're marketing decisions meant to increase exposure and elicit the result that the seller wants. It doesn't mean they're all done well. People still overprice stuff. But when they overprice it, it's still a marketing decision. I want to put it here because people are going to want to negotiate, and I want to be in a position to be able to do so. Not a good decision, but I understand why. And some people list stuff for what it should actually sell for, and that's a marketing decision. I don't want to mess around. I want a lot of people to be interested in this, and I just want to like, this is what I'm doing. I don't want to negotiate. This is what I'm selling for. Take it or leave it. And then there's those who will come to the 5% under their perceived market value, and they'll price it at that. Now you get a lineup of people and multiple offers, and it comes in selling still at what it's worth. So I think mostly, yeah, I stand by what I said. And that truth of your offer price being dependent on value, not asking price, is something that should hold firm when you are shopping regardless of market condition. And in 10 years, I'll watch this and say, yep, I stand by that again, because I can't see that changing. And the CRA thing, listen, I'm a good human being, and I would never want to take from anyone. I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't steal. I play by the rules. Now, I push up against the boundaries because I think that's meant to happen. We're supposed to push things to see how far we can go, so we can grow, so we can learn, so we can succeed. Like, nobody has ever reached the epitome of success by doing the same thing everybody else does, right? So I will push the limits, but I won't ever take from anybody. And I don't think anybody else should, except CRA and insurance companies. Both of them can suck an egg, the two of them. Because like, I just don't enjoy what they do. And insurance companies are not in the business of paying out your policy. Just be very, very clear about that. They're in the business of taking your money and finding excuses not to. Totally different conversation. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of Audit Jason, and we'll see you next time. Probably, unless the government heard this and I get canceled.